Most people know that one-use plastic accessories are bad for the environment. Plastic does not disintegrate and it lasts forever. Despite this, people all around the world have this knowledge and choose to ignore it. They continue to buy and use single-use plastics, including bags, straws, and water bottles, every single day. Many do not understand how bad and detrimental it is to the environment, along with the dramatic impact the use of plastic has on our everyday lives. Our school, High Point University, is a perfect example of knowing about the problem but not taking action to combat it. According to a survey I took of High Point students, 75% of the students who took my survey believe that HBU uses too many plastic water bottles and that we should find a better/more environmentally friendly way to distribute water to the school. Luckily, there are solutions to helping and preventing this problem we have at our school. There are three obvious potential solutions to an overload of single-use plastic at HPU. 1. Stop giving out plastic water bottles every day and encourage students to have their own reusable water bottles. 2. Put more filtered water fountains or refill stations around campus. 3. Give each student their own HPU reusable water bottles, such as Yeti or Hydro Flask. The problem of plastic in our environment increases every single day. High Point University uses a large amount of many single-use plastic water bottles, and since a large number of students and staff ignore recycling recommendations, HBU has become a place that is contributing to the destruction of our environment. Every morning at the kiosks around campus, there is someone there handing out morning snacks and water bottles to students, encouraging students to just throw out their empty water bottles after they finish, instead of reusing them for future use. Some students do choose to use the plastic High Point water bottles and refill them, but most choose to throw them away. This is clearly a problem as students continuously throw out their single-use plastic bottles and just get a new one, or perhaps several, the next morning. It is a terrible cycle that continues to evolve each day. Many students are aware that this damages our environment and yet still choose to ignore that fact. Students continue to get a plastic water bottle every morning just out of the convenience that the school provides for them. It is something that the university needs to be aware of and a practice that needs to stop. The first and most obvious solution to the problem is to stop handing out single-use bottles every morning to students. It would make an immediate environmental impact with the issues on campus that come with handing them out. Though it may be less convenient for our students, it is much healthier for our planet and for us. An additional incentive to this solution would be for the school and faculty to encourage students to bring their own reusable water bottles to class. It would allow students to continue their healthy water drinking habits, but enable a much safer, healthier, and more environmentally friendly way of doing it. Single-use bottles are not only given out at the kiosks, they are also given out during tours, scholar weekends, innovation summits, etc. It is more challenging to completely stop giving them out at these events, but it can at least be more controlled. During freshman orientation, they give each incoming student and parent their own reusable HPU water bottle. This clearly is not feasible for every single school-sponsored event, but they can give these water bottles out at the innovation summits, freshman orientations, and scholar weekends. Students who have already gotten one do not want or need another one, but can put into use the one they already have, encouraging others to do so. In all, it is such an obvious way for us at HBU to protect our environment to discontinue giving out the plastic water bottles. The second possible solution is to install more filtered water fountains around campus. There are a few of these stations in some of the buildings around campus, like Couch, the Cubane Communications Building, and Phillips. However, there are only a few of the stations total all around campus, and they only appear in hard-to-find locations around the most commonly used buildings on campus, like Wannock or Slane. This does not encourage students to use reusable water bottles, and it makes it so that students often take more than just one plastic water bottle so that they can just throw their first one out and go on to using the second one they took. Secondly, for students who do use their own reusable water bottles, there are not many options for them to get filtered water on campus, specifically where there is a lot of student foot traffic. Therefore, they have to use tap water from the sinks in their dorm rooms. Putting in more filtered water refill stations all around campus, in dorms and academic buildings, would be very beneficial. In addition, it would help the schools save money by not having to spend as much money making the plastic water bottles, along with bringing a much more convenient way of filling up water bottles for everyone around campus. The final solution is for the school to give each student and faculty member their own High Point University water bottle. This may be a more expensive alternative initially, but the enormous positive outcome would outweigh the cost. Giving every single student and faculty member their own reusable, well-made water bottle, such as a Yeti or Hydro Flask, would get more than enough students very excited and more willing to use their reusable bottles instead of picking up the plastic ones every morning. It encourages students to stop using one-use bottles and, although it is expensive, the cost would quickly be amortized, as making 7,000 of these reusable water bottles would discontinue the other costs inherent in purchasing single-use bottles over and over again. There are counterarguments to each one of the three solutions that have been mentioned. The counterargument for the first solution is that it is less convenient for the students. That's a lazy counterargument. There is likely a very high percentage of the school body who already owns their own reusable water bottle. The counterargument has no real advantages over the solution of taking away the plastic water bottles for environmental reasons. It is laziness over health, which has no leverage in any situation. The counterargument for the second solution is that it may be an expensive endeavor to install many filtered water refill stations around campus. This is a very valid point and something that definitely needs to be taken into consideration. It costs money to install the stations as well as keep up maintenance on them. However, it is not a continuous expense. Once they are installed, there is not any need to spend more money on them other than changing filters, and the students would use them more often if they were in more places around campus to fill up their water bottles. The counterargument for the third solution is the same as the second. It is expensive to make our own High Point University metallic, reusable water bottles. However, unlike the second counterargument, this is a continuous expense. The school would have to continue making them for each incoming freshman class year after year. However, students would be more willing to use them because they are nicer than plain plastic water bottles. Also, we would be able to represent our school, which is something that every student who goes to HBU loves to do. Plastic in our environment is a dangerous issue for our world, and it will be until people, organizations, cities, and even countries are willing to change the way they do things. High Point University adds to the massive problem by using way too many of these one-use plastic water bottles, and that needs to change. If we all take these solutions to heart, we can start making a big difference here on campus. It will be a long and hard process, but if we are able to start with baby steps, just getting the university to cut back on the production of the plastic water bottles, it could lead to a big and important change.